And good afternoon, everyone. This is Speak Life to Youth and Children International, or SLIC, SLYC International, and I am Latanya Smith. I am the CEO/founder of the organization, Speak Life to Youth and Children International. We have been in existence for nearly 3 years. And this is a special day for us because, one, this is a church member of mine in the Network Church in Tallahassee, Florida, and I've known him since I think the age of 12, 13, somewhere like that. He's special in my heart then and as well as now. He has an awesome story. To tell you a little bit more about SLIC, we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization providing programs and services to children from age 6 and to young adults until the age of 22. Once they reach 23, we feel that they should have it by then. We provide youth financial literacy classes, cooking basics 101, purpose, passion, career classes, as well as some other things. So you can look at our website, www.slickinternational.com, to find out more about us. But I'm going to turn it over to our speaker, presenter today, Mr. Kaleb King Reynolds.
Well, hello, everyone. I want to first of all thank you all for coming, and I want to thank the SLIC organization for inviting me. And it's been a few months in the making. A lot of things kept occurring that kind of set this back, but you know what? All things happen when they're supposed to. So let's get started. So what I'm going to be doing today, of course, this is supposed to be about career sources and everything, but not only about careers, I'm also going to tell you my story, my journey about dealing with a very, very serious illness that attempted to kill me, but I'm here today. And the tools I use to overcome, along with my ventures in school, how did I basically get from somebody who changed their major around 12 times to finally choosing what the course and the path for me. And if possible, I hope to be able to share some of the resources that I have that was able to help me along the way. Research I had to do as far as other community organizations that are available, like Career Source, located in Tallahassee. And, it just gives some advice that I wish was given to me when I was in high school and leaving when I was transitioning from high school to college, when I made the choice to go to college, and even when I decided to get some certifications and things. A lot of this I had to figure out on my own. So hopefully I can just give you all the resources to help you go directly to where you want to be. All right. I don't know if you all see my bio or not, but I will give you a little bit about me. When I was 16 years old, I became a father. I had my first biological daughter, and I was in 10th grade attending Rickards High School. It was very, very different for me. I didn't know what I was doing then, and I spent a long time not knowing what I was going to do afterwards. But I ended up I was in the IB program at Rickards. And I ended up transferring from Rickards. I didn't necessarily complete the IB program. I transferred from Rickards to FAMU DRS, where I finished up there. After I graduated from FAMU DRS, I went to FAMU College. And when I was at the FAMU College, I started off pre-med. And I didn't necessarily, I ended up transferring from FAMU, so I didn't receive a degree from there either. I transferred from FAMU to TCC, where I did receive a degree in political science, AA degree in political science, and then I went on to FSU to receive a bachelor's degree, bachelor's of science degree in interdisciplinary social sciences. But then my journey basically changed my whole career, my whole life. Now I'm currently a medical assistant, working in endocrinology at TMH Metabolic Health, but I'm also working on a BSN degree at Kaiser University at the moment. To be that's a bachelor's in nursing. I want to be a nurse practitioner, and my overall dream is to be an endocrinologist, a doctor. But let's get into what happened. So, yeah, what went wrong, and how did it get that way? I found out that a lot of it was on me. All of it was on me. It wasn't that I wasn't adequate. I just didn't feel like I was the person that could do these things. I'm going to start off with the title. The title of this is Unconquered. The title, the inspiration came from me graduating from FSU. And you know that FSU on their campus has a statue of Osceola and Renegade holding a spear, and under the statue, I even took it from my graduation picture, it said Unconquered. During the time in 2013 when I got there, was a spirit of Unconquered there. It was just, everything was great. We was undefeated in football, go Noles. And we also went the next year, 2014, undefeated until we got to the playoffs. So, it was definitely something going on up there. And I don't know if I mentioned this, I am a man of faith, so I will be giving a few scriptures, but just follow the story along with me. But I want you to, if you don't take anything from this, remember that you are at war for your life and for your future at all times. And it's a scripture, Ephesians 6:12, that says that, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of the world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So understand that this is a war sometimes with enemies that you can't see, that you are fighting for your life against things that were against you before you were born, that were against you, they're going to be against you well after you dead. You are being subject to principalities, and some of these you've invited, some of these you have not. But I'll go ahead and I'll get into something very important that I think we should all do, that also helps you along with finding yourself, because finding your career is kind of hard when you don't know who you are and what you plan to be. So my name itself is Kaleb. It's spelled K-A-L-E-B. The definition that I pulled from Google is that it's Hebrew in origin, and that it means devotion to God. Dog's devotion, like a dog's devotion to its master, brave, faithful, wholehearted. My middle name is Jabril, which is Hebrew also, which means man of God. My strength is God. Now, my last name is Reynolds, which is son of Renaud, meaning it is German, which means powerful ruler. So therefore, you will see a lot of times my aliases say the king. But it's very important to know what you or who you are before you are called to do what you are meant to do. Because ultimately, it's all about it's about pulling out the most you can in yourself. and about the most you can do for not just yourself, but others. We're going to start off with the first set topic. If you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. This is called Lost in the Sauce. All right, so Lost in the Sauce is basically about that time, like I said, that transition, not knowing exactly what you're gonna do and who you're gonna become. So I'm in high school. I'm leaving FAMU DRS. I'm finna go to FAMU. But around when I was 8 years old, my uncle Emery and my auntie Leslie had me remember this scripture. It meant one thing then, and it means the same thing today, but the revelation you get from it can change over time. And that's something that I learned about the Bible and the Word of God. But it's Philippians 4 chapter verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And like I said, the meaning never changed. However, the revelation changed over time. The Word of God is a living thing, it's breathing. So you don't necessarily, what you read today, even if the words are the same, it won't even change at all. But what you get from it can, depending on what you're going through in your life. So at one point, it meant that I can just do all things. I'm thinking that I'm charged up, I'm capable of doing whatever. I can just pretty much set a goal and I can just reach it and everything. And then at another point in my life, I realized that Apostle Paul, he was writing from prison, and that this prison letter was saying that I can endure my imprisonment, that I can take what they're dishing at me because it's Christ who strengthens me. And those, what I'm saying, if you're a believer, the word also says that you are going to suffer. And it's you have a cross and a burden to bear. But whether you believe it or not, we all have a burden. We all suffer. We all have trials and tribulations that are going to attack us in life. The difference is whether you prepare for it or not. It's at war. And this is basically what I'm saying, that is war. And unconquered itself, it means not overcome, defeated, or subjugated, especially by military force. Now, these principles and these powers are definitely like a military force. They are, at any chance that the word says the enemy comes to steal, kill, he seeks to kill, steal, kill, and destroy at all times. And he accuses you night and day. No matter, you are never good enough. You are never worthy. And I'm saying these things to tell you that these thoughts were said before they entered your mind, because these thoughts are not your thoughts. You have these thoughts sometimes, most likely, whether you admit it or not. And mental health is a very important part to being able to find your career, because when you're mentally unhealthy and you are having these kind of thoughts, you have a hard time being successful. And you have a hard time believing that you are successful, even when you are successful. And that, I know that sounds crazy, but you have successful people today who commit suicide, who die and do reckless things. But they ultimately will take their lives because these thoughts are still running through their minds. Yeah, you got 1 million followers, but this person got 1 billion. Yeah, you're not good enough. Yeah, you got this clout, nobody loves you. Your mom didn't take care of you. Your mom didn't raise you. You worthless, but you won't even consider that at the end of the day. It was probably people that did take their time out to make sure you got where you were supposed to go. So I'm gonna move on to the words and meanings that stay. I knew that basically I wanted to go to college. I had no idea how to really get there. Nobody was capable of showing me the path. So a lot of times I had to just figure it out. I was pretty confident that since I was at FAMU DRS and I was finna graduate, that I would be going to FAMU college. And I was correct. I did graduate and I took the SAT, and be honest with you, I didn't even try that hard because I was so confident in that I was just going that all I gotta do is pass and that'll be good. And I got there, but that wasn't, I look back now and I know better. I should have done the very best I could. And you should do the very best that you can at all times. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. And when I was about 9 years old, it's important that I tell you this now. It was prophesied that I would I was at Metropolitan Cathedral of Truth, and I was supposed to become a doctor. I got to FAMU, and my first major, of course, was pre-med. So I went in pre-med, and I was like, whew, this is hard. It was hard. It was just chemistry, biology. I was passing, but you ever did that thing where you was getting by, but you knew that you weren't getting by because you was good at what you was doing? You was basically getting by because you felt like your teachers probably felt sorry for you, or that you was probably just pitied more than you was and liked more than you was actually capable. That's what happened to me. I felt like I was more likable than I was actually smart. And I learned out later that that was grace. It was grace and mercy. And but it wasn't a bad thing because they saw something in me that I couldn't see in myself. And it took me a long time before I got to the point of seeing what was in me and how to bring that out of me and how to cancel those thoughts and those things that told me that I wasn't good enough, that you getting by only because people feel sorry for you, and that you're not worthy. But I came to find out that I was called. And if you called to do something, you're not supposed to be qualified. Most of the time, you called because you're not qualified, and it's to prove that God is real and he's capable of doing exceedingly abundantly above all you could ask or think, and that he will qualify you, and it's for his sake and his glory, and you should give glory back to him. So let's continue. So yeah, I didn't feel like I was gonna make it. I was like, I'm making it in these classes. I got a B, I got a C here in chemistry. And I'm like, well, that's better because I felt like I should have had an F. I got some other courses, lab, and I wasn't doing that. I felt like I wasn't doing well, but I was making with the C's and B's. And what I know today is that was enough. It was sufficient. His grace was sufficient to get me through. But I felt discouraged, so I got scared. And out of fear, I do what everybody else would do. I ran. I transferred from FAMU to TCC. And, I felt like Austin Powers, man. I had to get my mojo back. And the only way I knew how was to find something easy for me and to take a few W's, because even though I was winning, I know that now, I still feel like I was losing. And I said I needed some wins. So I went to TCC, and when I got to TCC, I changed my major to political science, and I was like, "Wow, this is easier. It works along with my schedule because I'm spending so much time doing other things, and I got my finger in like so much stuff, and I got a child to take care of that I'm thinking about all the time. Like I'm doing mostly nothing but papers, and Lord rest her soul, Miss Elaine Warner was my English teacher at FAMU DRS, and she prepared me a lot to be able to write essays on the dime. And that's because of my disobedience. The year prior to that, when she wasn't there, and when she came back with a vengeance, and I thank her for it. it made me a better person, and it made me a stronger student. She taught me how to be diligent and how, you know, you don't always get a shortcut in life. So I went to TCC, and then after I graduated, I was in such a rush to move on. I had already set the path for me going to FSU. Now, for those out there who are seeking to go to college, I want you to know in the state of Florida that your first 2 years are basically going to be the same, no matter where you get it from, your education. And after that, it's pretty much what's going to be important. That's going to, your junior and senior year is going to be the juice of it. In other words, going to a junior college is usually cheaper. Doing those mandatory prerequisite courses are going to be offered at the same community college as they would at the university that you want to attend. In other words, it's no real reason, unless you want to pay more for the same education that you're going to get. So if you get an opportunity, if you think it's something that's going to work for you, it's not about, nothing is wrong with going to a community college, and especially in the state of Florida, because if you go to a community college, you graduate, you are therefore eligible to go to any college in Florida in the state as well. You can transfer to that state. They cannot deny your application once you've won. All right. So once you've gotten your AA degree from that community college. So I want you to keep that in mind. It's okay to go to a junior college. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The first 2 years, get those 60 hours, I believe, or more, and then transfer, and sometimes it'll work out the best for you. You'll save money. You won't do something called reach an aggregate loan. We'll talk more about that, because when I got to FSU, I became a work study student in the financial aid department. Now, basically, you get a certain amount of loans as an undergrad that are all subsidized, unsubsidized, along with your Pell Grant. Your Pell Grant will, for the most part, cover a lot of it, but every now and then, if you like someone like me who lived in Tallahassee, didn't want to live with my parents, wanted to live on my own, I had ended up taking out some unsubsidized and subsidized loans. But there's only a limit. There's a cap to how much you can get as an undergraduate, and that's called the your loan aggregate. Once you reach that cap as an undergraduate, there's no more money you can get. So you got to have your degree before you reach that cap. Now the cap is set pretty high, so roughly around $60,000, but you'll get there a lot faster than you think, especially if you have responsibilities. So when I went to FSU, I did graduate, got my Bachelor's of Science in Interdisciplinary Social Sciences, which basically gave me an opportunity to be very broad and diverse in a lot of things. I was able to meet a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, and I learned, took a lot of courses that were great. And these courses were like entrepreneurship, social justice, criminal justice, and everything. And honestly, I was preparing myself for law school. I got an LSAT book. I was ready. I was started studying for the LSAT and everything. The MCAT was the furthest thing from my mind. Anything to do with math and science was the furthest thing from my mind. But I want you to know right now, if you have any things when you're leaving high school, you go to studentloans.gov, www.studentloans.gov. You'll fill out your financial aid application there. And if you are someone who's thinking of going back to school, you can go there to verify your previous loan status as well, whether or not you in default or how much you have left, and things of that. And then this website is we have Rotary programs for funding that you can apply to, scholarships.com. We have college scholarships, or let me see if it's a way to really put this in the chat. so you can actually get a physical version of this. So you can just click on the link. But finances, college is expensive. There's no way around it. You are going to pay. Somebody is going to pay. And if you don't think that you're going to get scholarships, then, you know, it's other ways, you know, it's personal loans you can take out. But I say be careful, because all this money has to be paid back for the most part, unless you take certain majors. See chat. There it goes. All right, so I just put those links in the chat. These is pretty much, you will see the Rotary programs. It's pretty much broken down. So let's continue. All right. So like I said, I had no idea what I was doing. And what came to mind was Psalms 37:23. The Lord directs the steps of the godly. He delights in every detail of their lives. When I got to FSU, it got to a point where I had to basically pray a lot. I had to pray for everything. This was actually a time where I actually was sick, and I didn't know I was sick. I had a condition called hyperparathyroidism. Hyperparathyroidism is when you basically have an overactive parathyroid gland, which is located in the neck. If you see right here, I have a scar, not very big, but I had 2 parathyroidectomies. Parathyroidectomies are when they take out basically they surgically remove tumors from your parathyroid glands. The parathyroid glands, most people have 4, and they're located on the thyroid. Once it's hyper, what it does is it starts to take away from the calcium in your bones. So it makes you, and it puts it into your blood, because your body believes that it needs more calcium, and the quickest way it can get it is to go to your bones and to take it out. Osteoclasts start to chip away at your bones versus osteoblasts, which build bones. But they take away, they put it in your blood, and it causes you to have psychological issues. It causes you to not know or be able to think complete thoughts. It causes you to not be able to sleep. It is a college student's nightmare. It's as bad as it can get, especially if you were somebody like me in your senior year and you have nothing but a whole bunch of catching up to do. Now, at this moment, this is when I did the most of my praying, because I couldn't think for myself. I couldn't I couldn't walk on campus and know what I had planned or what to do, because it was so bad. I had to pray for where to park, man. I did not have any clue what I was doing, and it wasn't my fault. And until I met a doctor on the campus who saw that my blood calcium level was too high, and she took me to an endocrinologist. She sent me to an endocrinologist and this endocrinologist did a biopsy, and she found out that I had tumors there. And but in the midst of that, I was doing things like drinking alcohol a lot. I'm not gonna say it would say borderline alcoholism. The reason why, because it thinned my blood, and because it thinned my blood, it made me capable of focusing, and it gave me the energy I needed to continue and to be able to see, to be able to just think straight long enough to do my work. And to be honest with you, it was doing more harm than it was helping. I didn't know. I thought I had stomach ulcers, and it just made everything worse. The more I drank, the worse things got. Not just, well, it got better for school sometimes. That's only because I could do my work, but my social life, the people around me who were affected, the way my friends saw me, they saw it was a problem, and I had to quickly get help. And once the situation with my thyroid was taken care of, I had that first surgery. I got better, and I knew I had to stop. I stopped for the most part, not drinking as heavy, and I couldn't either because after the surgery, it gave me real bad headaches, and it's not to say that you can't, that it's not that you can't stop, or that I couldn't stop. It's just that I didn't want to, and I'm not gonna knock anybody for what they've done. That do it now. I'm just letting you know, when you look back, a lot of times you're gonna find out that your life is a lot better without it. But we'll go on to what happened, man. So I graduated. 2 weeks later. I started working. Well, not 2 weeks, like immediately. I transferred from being a work study student at FSU to being a part-time employee of the state in the financial aid department. But this is where things went left. After I graduated, my mom passed away. Now, I had I would say a very, very love-hate relationship with my mom prior to this. I felt like she never took care of me. She was supposed to be the one there to take care of me, and she didn't. I felt like she abandoned me, and I felt like I was her only son, and I should have been more important to her. And I felt like I wasn't. But when I was in college and when I was going to TCC, some things transpired that caused me to move into the house with my mom. My mom at the time was living in Houghton Street Projects. I'll never forget apartment G139 at the bottom. That's what they call Houghton Street at the time, the bottom. And when I got there, so it was in 2013, and she didn't pass away till 2015. So I had 2 years to reconcile. And that itself was a blessing to me, because all the hurt and pain that I had on my heart dealing with her, I was able to let go. And I was able to see why things happened the way they happened, and that she couldn't have done what was necessary for raising me. Me living with my auntie and uncles, Emery and Leslie, Ruth and Robert, was the best thing that could have happened for me. They had the resources, they had the tools, the knowledge, and they had the strength to carry me, especially in times where I couldn't carry myself. So I see that her love is what caused her to give me away. And because of that, I was strong enough to come back and help her clean her house. When I got there, a lot of things, she was a hoarder, but she was holding on to things because of most things she was afraid to lose. And it's hard to get people who hoard away from the things that they've collected, because it's a fear of letting go. You have to replace that with a different type of love. You have to replace that with a different, with something else. And I was present, and with me being present and there in her life, she was able to let those things go and cope with it, and not give so much feedback. But I realized something in hindsight. Before she passed away, it was some things that was going on with her, and because I wasn't on my career path that I'm on now, I didn't see. And had I saw those things at that moment, I don't know if I could have saved her life, but I could have definitely probably helped a change. My mom's eyes were yellow, and a lot of times this is indicative to jaundice. Jaundice is an infection, well, not an infection, but it's an attack on the liver. And she told me prior to her passing away, about 2 weeks, she took me out for graduating. She took me out to dinner, and she told me that she had a hepatitis C virus. C is treatable. I didn't think none of it. I was like, okay, that's fine. But had I known she was jaundice, and that the fact that she struggled with drug addiction for most of her life, I would have known that it's a possibility that she couldn't. I didn't put together that she most likely wasn't going to get a donor liver. She was probably in late stages of cirrhosis, most likely. And things, I mean, this is speculation, but things are way worse than I could have possibly imagined. I think she knew she was about to die, but she didn't want to tell me. I would have known this, and I could have probably said something had I been still pre-med. Had I still been on a career where I was supposed to, had I stuck it out at FAMU, and had I done the things I was supposed to do, that I was called to do at that time, I feel like I would have definitely known. Could I have changed it? Maybe not. I'm not God. I don't have the power of that, but maybe I could have gave a word. Maybe I could have said something, but then again, it's a possibility. Maybe I could have prayed for her. Maybe things would have changed. Maybe it wasn't too late, but I won't know that. And I can't know that. It's too late. She's gone. And it's not my fault, but it's my fault. It was some things that I should have known that I didn't. It was some things that I couldn't explain to others the way that I can now. I heard she had a brain aneurysm. I knew she fell down and hit her head. And when she had the brain aneurysm, got to the ER, when I heard she had a brain aneurysm, I was the only one who cried. Because even though I wasn't necessarily pre-med, I still understood what a brain aneurysm was. And I knew that the chances of survival after that are not great for most people. Those who do are extremely lucky. They are extremely lucky. And those who do usually are not the same. So I spent 5 days in the hospital over her, praying diligently, until finally I got to a point where I said, God, if this cup is too much for us to bear, if it is your will and it does you, if she would be better in your hands than in ours, please take her, but don't have her suffer anymore. And I remember the very next day she was gone. I actually saw the lights flicker in the room. I experienced when I felt like when her spirit left her body, and when she was gone, it came time to pull the plug and everything. It was done, and it was merciful. It was. She was unconscious the entire time. She didn't wake up to feel the pain, so I had to accept that. But after I graduated, I went on to work for the state, and I did 2 years at the state, and and then I was let go. I felt like it wasn't my fault. I was sick, and you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know how sick I was at the time, but I was sick, and I'm like, I'm always sick, and I'm missing days and stuff like that. So I was fired eventually, but I was like, it's fine. I'm gonna be all right. I actually went 8 months unemployed, and I didn't know why. I was like, I have 2 college degrees, man. Why in the world can I get hired anyway? I got plenty of work experience. I worked for Leon Advocacy Resource Center, you know what I'm saying, for LARC. I was a vocational trainer. I've taught people how to work at jobs. How come I can't get a job at Cricket? It made no sense to me. So while I'm in unemployment, and it's necessary for you to put out at least at this time 5 job applications a week, I'm putting out 10. I'm doing double the work. I'm like, I can't get a job nowhere. I kind of find out later, you know what I'm saying, that in hindsight, it was meant to be that way. I wasn't supposed to start working nowhere. I was supposed to start working when I started working there. Eventually, I got hired at TMH Northeast ER. At the Northeast ER, here goes the thing. I was prophesied to about being a doctor when I was at Metropolitan Cathedral of Truth. And TMH Northeast ER is actually on Metropolitan Boulevard. So I feel like, I believe God speaks, but he does it so subtly to a point where if you don't pay attention, you might not even catch it, but he's talking all the time. But when I got to TMH Northeast ER Metropolitan, I had to go When I was told on Metropolitan what I was supposed to be, he took me back to Metropolitan to become what I was supposed to be, if I can put it in simple terms. So I was working there in patient registration, enjoying my job, collecting insurance, not for the money, but for meeting the patients and having fun with them. It was a wonderful experience. And while I was having fun with these patients, and of course, I had a quota to meet, I would have to ask for the money, but a lot of times people were comfortable. They had fun and they would pay, and they didn't pay because, they did it because of they had to basically to keep the debt off. But I feel like me having that experience with them and making it not boring, actually not coming in there just being like, well, your insurance card, your ID, yeah, just swipe, but and then leave. No, I actually made it turn into games, had fun, asked them about themselves, how they're feeling and things, asked them if I could go get them a warm blanket, the little things I could do. And stuff like that. And I enjoyed it. And then I got to a point where I was about to transfer into another job at TMH, but it was part of Medicus. It was in the endocrinology department. It was at the Metabolic Center, and that's basically endocrinology. 2 days before I was finna transfer to TMH Metabolic Health, I got sick. I've been sick for a while, but it finally got to the point where the day before that, my coworkers was like, Kaleb, you look pale. You look like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you don't look yourself. You haven't had that high energy that you usually have. And I was like, I'll be all right. I'm just going through something. And I'll be okay. It's nothing. They're like, all right, hold on. How about you just sit here? Let us give you an IV and just check you out real quick. And if everything improves, then we'll let you go. I like, all right, deal. They did it, and I felt better. And then I left. I've been feeling nauseous, vomiting. I was diagnosed with pancreatitis and stuff, and that's just inflammation of the pancreas and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll be all right. It's nothing. Like it just happens and stuff like that. And give you diarrhea and other things. And I'm not trying to discuss anybody, but these are very serious medical conditions and concerns. I didn't know that at the time, but when it happened though, I came in the next day to work, and 2 hours in my shift, I was like, I feel horrible like I did yesterday. Maybe I should check myself in. So I checked myself in, and the doctor at the ER that time, he was like, he asked me, how do you feel? I'm like, man, I feel like, I've been going through this for a while. It's probably just pancreatitis again. I'll be okay. And then I said, well, he said, how about this? Just to be on the safe side, let's just go ahead and do a CT scan. And I got the CT scan done, and the CT scan showed that, we looked on the tail end of your pancreas, and it seems to be two things that look like tumors, and possibly one on your liver. And we're not sure whether they're benign or malignant, but let's go ahead and send you to let's put you in the hospital. So they went ahead and I was admitted into the hospital. While I was there, in my not my endo, but my gastrologist came in to see me, and I've dealt with her before, Dr. Conda, and she said, I feel like I can get a biopsy to that. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna try to get a piece of it, and we're gonna test and see what it is. And then my whole world came to a crash. The results came back. It's malignant, it's cancer, it's pancreatic. So it's actually, since it's metastasized to your liver, it's stage 4. You have stage 4 neuroendocrine pancreatic cancer. Survival rates of this vary. Most of the time, anybody with any kind of pancreatic cancer don't survive more than 5 years. I'm hearing a whole bunch of bad news at once. Not only that, we got to do an MRI. We do an MRI. You have a brain tumor. It's a pituitary adenoma. Along with the parathyroid tumors that you had, Kaleb, it looks like you have a genetic condition called multiple endocrine neoplasia type 1. Now, what this means is that throughout your life, no matter how good you eat, no matter how healthy you are most likely, you can continue to grow tumors out of nowhere. Hopefully, most of them will be benign, but like the one that's on your pancreas right now can be malignant, can metastasize and continue to grow. And only thing we can do for you is just treat you as you go, and hopefully things get better. So this brings us to the segment I like to call Truth or Despair. You know, like truth or dare, we're gonna say truth or despair. When I got sick, diagnosed with multiple endocrine neoplasia type 1, and I have stage 4 cancer this whole time, and I had no idea. Probably had it for years, and nobody knew. I didn't know. Misdiagnosed for just having stomach ulcers and just parathyroid, just hyperparathyroidism. Well, not misdiagnosed, but basically the things weren't added up to being what it seriously was. So I'm in the hospital. I'm going through a very depressed time of my life. You know, my mentor, who's been with me since I was in high school, Mr. Kevin, he comes by, he visits me, which he always usually visits me when I'm in the hospital. But he was a tutor of mine while I was in high school. Come out to be like a big brother, somebody I relied a lot on. My aunt and uncle, Leslie and Emery, who are my pastors today, came by, to visit me. My auntie Ruth and my uncle Robert came by to visit me. They raised me as well, took care of me majority of my teenage life. And, a lot of other families and friends came by, and I'm still in the hospital at this time, and I don't know what to do. I'm depressed. I'm going through depression, and my aunt Ruth gave me a scripture. She told me to read Psalms 86, and I read Psalms 86 daily for the better part of about 2 years. And a little bit more, but it was to encourage my spirit, because I had no idea what to do. And speaking of mental depression and illness, I want to give you this link of National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, an organization that help people with that. I'm going to put the link down here in the Zoom conference. All right. So if you ever want to reach out to them, if you're going through anything, it would the deal with it was founded by a woman whose child was mentally ill, and she had to find coping ways to deal with it. And she realized there's a lot of other people out there. I met her while I was in Kaiser University. They came out, and she told me her story, her journey, and I shared a little bit of mine. And this is where I got this information from. And hopefully, if you're going through anything, you'll use this resource. Because like I said, it's part of your career. Your mental stability is very important for you to be able to move forward. Now, we're going to move to a segment I like to call Desperate and Afraid. Like the show Naked and Afraid. Yeah, it's like, it's people out there who are surviving. They're on Naked and Afraid, that they have no clothes, and they have to find out what they're gonna do to get through the harsh environment that they're in. They got to make their own shelter, get their own food, and do their own thing. And Desperate and Afraid, I felt like those who were on that show, Naked and Afraid. I was desperate. Basically, my auntie Connie went with me to see another doctor, oncologist.
What the hell you doing, Brett?
And that doctor basically told me that, you know what I'm saying, yeah, you have cancer. It's serious. Not telling me I'm gonna die, but and after I heard it, I was like, I'm finna die, man. Like, but I'm so young. I've done nothing that I wanted to do. Like, I'm not done yet. How can I be finna? How can it be over already? Why would this happen to me? I'm a good person. I've done nothing wrong to nobody that I know of. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing to deserve to die for it. Like, but I skipped though. I really didn't go through the 5 stages of death, you know, where you get angry and everything. I did bargain though. I went to bargaining and I went to acceptance though. Part of me went to acceptance because those thoughts started hitting me about, you know, that's why I say mental health and wellness is very important, because those thoughts started hitting me and that said, Kaleb, you deserve this. You wasted a lot of time. That's what you did with your life. You knew what you were supposed to be doing and you didn't do it. You deserve to die. You knew that you were supposed to be taking care of this and that. You could have done more here and there, but you didn't. You're a waste of life. You're a waste of time. You're a waste of energy. The world would be better without you. These are the thoughts that I'm having in my head. And you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, nobody can protect you from your thoughts. Only you can do that. So I'm like, all right, I guess I deserve it. And then I started to remember, you know what I'm saying? Something embedded in me, because like I said, I grew up in church and it was my heart. In my heart, scripture started coming up. You know, God started feeding me the word. And he started feeding me life. He started feeding me words that was saying, you're not the first person that messed up. You won't be the last. And there's been kings down to peasants whose lives I have extended. If I do it for them, I can do it for you. You need only ask. And I asked, if this cup can pass me or be a stain for a little while, I promise 2 things. I will give glory to you. And not only that, I will do whatever I can to never run away from my fight, run away from the war, run away from my troubles again. I'll be like David, you know, in the Bible, he didn't even show up with the intentions of fighting Goliath. He was just an errand boy. But delivering sandwiches to his brothers who were supposed to be there. And at that moment, he stepped into what he was called to be. And I said, I won't do it again. I'll never let it happen. I'll never let it happen. I'll never be weighed down by choices. I'll never be afraid to be who I am or be who I'm supposed to be again. So we're still on Desperate and Afraid. It get worse though. Yeah, it's not like things just I miraculously got cured and things went better. No, this is a lifelong thing. Come to find out, it's incurable. Multiple endocrine neoplasia type 1, incurable, according to men. And my aunt Leslie gave me a scripture that helped me to that basically said that it was a person in the Bible. His name was Paul. He had something he called a thorn in his flesh. And he prayed to God and asked him to remove it 3 times. And each time God said no, until finally God told him, my grace is sufficient. after hearing that, I realized that you don't have to get rid of the thing that you're dealing with, and it doesn't have to defy you, but that thing, you don't have to live with it. You can make that thing live with you. You can make whatever you're going through and you're dealing with, your illness or your ailment, you can make it, you can subjugate it. See, remember, we're in warfare. Somebody got to lose. And if you anything like me, you're not going to let it be you. So I went on and I was told that I need to get a surgery. I need to get a surgery on my pancreas. We have to remove this tumor. This tumor is going to kill me if I don't do nothing about it. I got a general surgeon that's ready to do it. And then I also have a word that came out of that came from my my gastrologist saying that, you know what, this isn't like regular pancreatic cancer. I believe you have a little bit more time, but because of how special it is, I think you need to get in the hands of someone who specializes in dealing with this. But I'm afraid. I'm still afraid though. I'm like, well, I need to do the first thing that's possible. So first thing that was offered to me was to get a surgery in the next 2 weeks. But the surgeon that was supposed to do that surgery was out on vacation. While he was out on vacation, when he came back, was like, hey, I can't give you this surgery because what I plan to do is remove your spleen, remove this, remove this tumor, probably cut in the tail end of your pancreas. You're going to definitely be diabetic. Your spleen is very important for your defense system, your immune system against other things. So I have to basically give you some vaccines for certain things that will kill you if you don't have them prior to removing your spleen. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. Well, do I have a choice in the matter? But the gastrologist told me, I want to give you a referral to go to Shands. And Shands, I have 2 weeks to figure out which one I'm going to do. And I spent a lot of time in prayer about that because I had no idea. All I know is I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. And then my auntie Leslie said, you need to go to, you going to Shands. Yeah, that's where you're going. And here goes the thing. I'm risking everything on going to a consultation versus a guaranteed surgery. I'm thinking in my mind, I need a surgery. And these thoughts are coming to me, they're hitting me. You need a surgery. But if you go down there, you just wasted time. It's a consultation. There's no telling what he's probably going to tell you the same thing the other doctor just told you. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go. The time came for the other surgery to come. And the week of that, I went ahead and I called after my gastrologist sent the referral. They pushed it through. It came through in time that I can't even fathom how fast it happened. Most people got to wait months and everything, but this, man, it just came directly through. I'm like, so it must be what I'm supposed to go. This is where I'm supposed to go. So I canceled the surgery with the first surgeon, and I'm ready to go for this consultation. But desperate and afraid, y'all. At the time, Hurricane Dorian is brewing. It's projected to hit Florida. But not only is he projected to hit Florida, he has been over the Bahamas for days, just doing whatever, destroying, only moving 3 miles per hour, category 5, just tearing it up. I'm like, if this thing comes to Florida, it's projected to hit at the time of my consultation. So again, here it is. I'm in tears. I'm talking about, I've never been, I'm not afraid. I don't care who see me right now. If you haven't never gotten desperate to the point of where you like, I'm going to pray and I'm going to do it right here, right now. I don't care who hear me, who see me. I'm going to cry. I'm going to, whatever I'm dealing with, I'm laying it out right here. I'm in the parking lot of the digestive disease clinic. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that. I said, look, God, you know me, I'm going. So my word, or my Bible that I read said that you're capable of moving storms. You said if you had a faith the size of a mustard seed, that you can move a mountain. You said that if you have the faith to speak to a storm. You can tell it to move. I'm going to Shands. It's already been, I already canceled that appointment. There's no turning back. I need you to show up and show out. Do y'all know that that hurricane never touched Florida? I mean, the weatherman said that they was positive it was going to happen. Now, in Tallahassee, we know that they always wrong. But for the sake of them, just, it was right about the Bahamas and everything else, though. So for the sake of them having a pretty good track record, I was like, okay, well, something got to happen. Something else got to break because it ain't going to be me. I'm not saying that it was just my prayers that kept that hurricane away, but I know that I gave a desperate one. And if there ever was a time that it was heard then. And so, boom, I get the chance. I see the surgeon, and I get the consultation, and he like, okay, yeah, what you got going on? Yeah, I see those 2 spots that it said on the tail end of your pancreas, but I do this a lot. That's the surgeon you need, the one that does it a lot, that's well fed. You don't want the one that's desperate to cut. He like, yeah, I do this a lot. I'm almost positive that you're gonna have one on the head of your pancreas as well. Gonna find out it was one on the head of my pancreas that was the size of a golf ball that was causing me all the problems. I did a PET dotatate scan. It wasn't available in Tallahassee. It was only available down there. And here it goes that when I do this PET dotatate scan, it reveals this spot, that spot, and a little bit more because it basically just glows anything that could potentially be cancerous. It just highlights it. And he sees it, you're like, okay, so what we're gonna do is in about a month, we're gonna I'm gonna put you on my schedule and we're gonna remove this. We expect this to be about 6 hours. But I'm confident that I can do it laparoscopically. Basically, I could go in through the side, minimum scarring. I'm not gonna have to cut you directly down the middle, and you know what? And yeah, this can be done. Let me tell you, I can't cure you from this, but I believe by me doing this, I'm going to do something called a Whipple procedure. We're going to cut out this we're going to cut out this head of your pancreas. We're going to find out where the cancer is on your liver. We're going to do an ablation. That's pretty much like microwaving the spot, hopefully kill those cells. And then I'm going to reroute your organs. You know, that's part of it. We're going to remove your gallbladder and everything. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, it's good news. You saying that you can do something. I'm not going to lose my spleen. You didn't tell me I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying? You didn't say I'm gonna be diabetic. So, you know, let's go for it. So I wait. Now in this time of waiting, that's where a lot of times it gets hard. It gets tough. I'm waiting. I'm scared. I'm crying. I'm depressed. I don't know what to do. I'm worried. The day of the surgery comes, you know, my aunt Leslie, my uncle Emery, they're with me, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, they're my pastors and everything. And my now fiance Danielle, she was with me as well. And I'm down there and I'm praying the whole time, all the way to the final hour, praying. No, nothing else to do, praying. And then when I got drawn back to the surgery room, my nurse asked me, do you know your blood type? I'm like, no. I said, could you tell me? She said, yeah, your blood type is B positive. And that started to speak to me. Like I said, sometimes God will speak to you in ways that if you don't listen, you won't necessarily grab it. It said your blood type is B positive, and we know the power of blood. So I was like, yeah, that's right, Auntie. She was like, yeah, gotta be positive. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be positive. I'm gonna be positive about this. I'm gonna see my way through. And when they took me down and they took me to the surgery room, I'm like, okay. They count down 10, 9, 8, you know, backwards. Next thing you know, you're out. You just sleep. And then one day I wake up. I mean, not one day, but a few hours later, I actually woke up. The surgery itself only took 3 hours, not 6 like he projected. The whole procedure he expected to do, he didn't have to do. he said that you actually did so well. When we went into there to get removed, we saw the one at the head of the pancreas, and it was outside, so not really going. We didn't have to cut much, into the pancreas at all. But when we looked for the ones at the tail end, we didn't see them. When we looked for the ones on the liver, we didn't see them. It doesn't mean that it's not there. We're confident it's there, but it's nothing that we can do. There was no reason for us to remove the other part and reroute your intestines or nothing like that. We're going to go ahead. We did remove your gallbladder. That's it. Everything else was only because, we had to remove your gallbladder because your treatment moving forward will give you gallstones. You don't really need it as much as everything else that you need. You need your pancreas. Yeah. Basically what a gallbladder does is just help your liver digest further and secrete. It moves the bile that's necessary for digestion to your stomach and everything. So at this point, it's not, you don't need that gallbladder as much as you need everything else. And because I was able to stop there, you're a surgical candidate for the future still. So if there's a chance that we have to see you again, then everything, I'm ready. I'm gonna be with you for a long time. So I'm like, good, I got a partner. And while I was at, now I'm at the same time, I was worried about my job. I was supposed to start working at endocrinology, and what happened, I got sick, and I'm like, hey man, these people not gonna wait. So I stayed in contact with my supervisor, Lynn, and bless her, she said, we're gonna wait on you. No matter, take the time you need. You still have your job whenever you get better. I'm like, okay, awesome. I can't go 8 months unemployed again. So awesome. Let's make this happen. Then I get I leave from the surgery. I'm walking around with a JP bag, and I'm believing that I'll never really walk again. I'm gonna show you this picture. This is what it looked like. As you see, I got a crutch. I'm hanging on to the hospital bed. I got a bag that's right here. This is actually coming out my side. It's collecting fluids from my pancreas and everything, and from the surgery. And I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna never be able to be normal again. I'm not ever gonna be able to play basketball again. I love playing basketball. I'm not ever gonna be able, there go those thoughts again, telling me that you're not gonna be able to do nothing. Yeah, you might as well roll over. It's over for you, just slowly now. All they do is slow down what's gonna happen inevitably. So, but that's when, my warriors came through for me, a lot of, intercession, a lot of prayer, a lot of other people encouraging me. I started realizing a lot of things happen. At the time I didn't have insurance. I didn't have nothing. I didn't, all the surgeries were done for free, basically. Charities and other programs just paid for it. I'm working at a hospital, but still didn't have insurance or coverage or nothing. But to this day, I don't owe a dime for everything. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of work that was done and put on me. I don't owe a thing. And, my heart, I really thank those at Northeast ER. They even sent me a care package, like Paul, like I spoke about earlier. When he got sent one, when he was in prison, that's where that scripture came from. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Actually, the church had sent him a care package, and he was like, I thank you for all having me in your thoughts and your prayers, but I don't need this. But I wasn't like Paul at the time. I wasn't nowhere near as mature, and I was like, I appreciate it. I definitely need it. I'm broke, don't got no money, ain't been able to work, and I don't know how long. Thank you. So to this day, Northeast ER, shout out to you, man. Y'all phenomenal, y'all great. And I appreciate that. That got me through a lot. And so after I recovered, I started working, but it was still a struggle. My Uncle Emory Oh wait, while I was at the hospital, I want to talk about something that happened. My epidural didn't work after the surgery, so I went through a night of pain, excruciating pain. Post-op, no pain meds, no nothing. And at this time, Ruth and Robert are my auntie and uncles. They're at the hospital with me. And my auntie is already dealing with her own health issues, and my uncle, and they're up in age, they're in the 60s, and they're dealing with, you know, their own issues, you know, but you know, they found the time to come down there and see me, and man, that night I needed them, because what happened was, with the epidural not working, I felt all of that, every cut, every laceration, everything. It was nothing spared from me. And the doctor that was supposed to be on call was none at the ICU at the time. One had to come from the Children's Hospital to come evaluate me before they could give me anything for it. Everybody who looked at me was just like, "Oh my God, that boy is." It's sad because I'm hollering, man. I'm screaming, I'm crying and everything. But then I started to speak the words in life, and I started to speak the scriptures that I knew. It didn't matter what it was. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I feel no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod, thy staff shall comfort me. I'm Psalms 23, well, Psalms 23 and all that. Whatever I know, Psalms 121. My help comes from the Lord. I look towards the hill for which cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord. And no matter what it was, as long as I knew it and it said life, I was going with it, because something told me to not say that this is killing me. Do not say that you are going to die. Do not speak death on yourself. You are only going to speak life, and you are only going to speak success, and you are only going to speak victory at this moment. Because what you say at this moment is going to determine what you say from now on. And that's if you get an opportunity to get out of here. So we're going to get you out of here first. My uncle, I remember him holding me. He held me. You know what I'm saying? Held me up. People like, hold, like, I got you. He held me up for hours. Like, it felt like hours. It was probably only minutes, but it felt like hours. So I'm gonna say for hours. And then I sat there, and then he was like, "I got you. I'm gonna take care of you. You know, I still gotta get up." So they stayed up late into the hours till the doctor finally came and gave me the medicine. I was able to get calmed down and everything. Now, I dealt with asthma my whole life as well. So when me dealing with asthma my whole life, I understand how it feels to lose your breath. But I remember at one point that I got into this part of me where I felt life breathe back into my lungs. I stopped breathing. I know I stopped breathing. I know how it feels to be sleeping, stop breathing. I have sleep apnea even today. So I know how it feels to stop breathing, but this time I felt like I was surely passing away. But I felt life. It was a calm, a cool breath that was breathing into my lungs. It didn't come from me. It wasn't a breath I took. As a matter of fact, it took a while for my lungs after that surgery to get strong enough to even be able to do the lung exercise thing that you got to blow into to be able to get out of that hospital. So I know it wasn't my breath, but it was the breath of life that because I spoke life, the breath of life was breathed back into me. So I get out of there, you know. I think Danielle did a lot. She went back and forth to Tallahassee, going to work, coming back and seeing me, going to work and coming back and seeing me. Just that night, she couldn't be there. It happens, you know. I appreciate it. My friends, you know, after that, you know, my friend Delwyn, his family, they came down to his grandmother, Lord bless the dead. Yes, Miss Versi, man. She came down there, and I'm talking about sometimes you need some old people to pray for you that know how to pray, know how to talk to them, that know how to say some things. And he said something. And they prayed over me. They lifted my spirits. They encouraged me. And even though I still, you know, at first, you know, I did a physical therapy man was walking by, you know, and he was like, do you want to go and do you want to take a walk? You know, before you leave, you got to be able to walk. And I was worried about being able to walk. I'm like, man, all right. For a few times, I was like, nah. But then one day he came by. After they done came by, they done prayed for me, everything, that my spirit done got filled up. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. He like, do you need me to hold you? I don't need you to hold me. I'm gonna walk today. I started to walk, and I walked, and I started to realize that every step you take from this day forward going to be a new step. You're going to move from left to right. You're going to move these feet, but you're no longer going to be walking regularly. You're not going to walk how you used to walk. You're going to walk with the purpose for now on. Every step you take will be a purpose. So I'm going to stop right here. Ask if there are any questions. Anything anybody want to say to me, you can put in the chat. Unfortunately, for my Facebook followers, I won't be able to respond to that. Can know that I have to take my phone down and do what else. But anybody in the Zoom, you can unmute yourself.
Well, I will say the importance is very important, regardless of whatever situation, whether it's medical, psychological, spiritual, emotional. It is important and it's imperative for us to speak life into ourselves and in those situations.
Yes, it is.
So the fact the enemy tries to control our mind, is the negative try to control our mind, whether it's a young kid or a teenager, young adult, or some of us older folk, or some of us senior seasoned people. We have to speak life. We have to cast down those thoughts, those negative thoughts of not being enough, not going to be enough, considering suicide or going through depression. It's important and it's imperative that we speak life into ourselves, into our situations, as well as having people around us to speak life sometimes when we can't even get the words out.
Yes, we do. We need that. Absolutely.
That's my right now. Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Yes, it's Brenda. Hi, I'm driving, so I'm trying to dry my face, but what a testimony. Oh my God. And what I got from you is that we think that as people, I'm just speaking for me, that we just have so much going on and we really don't have a clue as to what's going on around us. So it's very important. So thank you for that. Thank you for drawing me back to the fact that, you're not the only one that got issues. And your issues may not be another person's issue, but your issues are not as bad as you think, because it may be bad for someone else. So for that, I just want to say thank you for that alone. And like my cousin said, it's very important, always to speak life into yourself and important into young people as well. I work in the school system, and I was just having this conversation yesterday with some co-workers, and we were just talking about how important our role is in the school system, because we always hear kids are always hearing so much negative stuff, but we're in a position to speak life, positive things into their lives. So I'm thankful for that. Thank you so much for your testimony, really, and to God be the glory. I'm so glad that everything is working in your favor at this moment.
Thank you, Brenda. All right, I'm gonna get back on track right now. I see that we only got a few more minutes, about 30. So I'm gonna go ahead and see what I can get through. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get through all of this, because as you can see, I can talk. So we're gonna go on to the next subject. You are what you speak. You know how it is. You are what you eat. You are what you speak. And I just talked about how at this moment, you have to speak life. You have to speak about yourself. You have to look in the mirror and tell yourself that I'm beautiful and I'm wonderfully made. You got to look at yourself, and you have to start to see yourself as more than what possibly other people have said that's negative about you. You have to, and I learned to see myself the way God sees me. That's what gave me the courage to continue my career and to go back into the medical field, because I didn't have it myself, but I realized that he loved me, he cared for me, he did whatever it was necessary to take care of me, and therefore don't waste it. Don't waste his blessing. And because I'm not going to waste his blessing, I said that, okay, it's time to start speaking these things that I want into existence. The word says, Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. What you speak is very important, because I'm letting you know the enemy of this warfare the enemy is listening. He is recording. The Bible says in Revelations that he sits before the throne of God, accusing the brothers and sisters day and night. They only overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by their testimonies. So I'm telling you this today to make sure that you get through yours, so you can see that somebody like me can get through mine, because I'm a mess up. If it was anywhere in the world or any place or any subject that I could mess up, I did. My child was born out of wedlock. I was only 16. I stayed in her life, thank God. I'm capable of doing things for her, and I love her and everything. And but you talking about a sinner, I've been a sinner. You talking about an alcoholic, I've been an alcoholic. You talking about somebody who done all the things that, that you got to understand that God does not wait for you to clean yourself up and then say, come to me. He says, come to me as you are, and I will clean you. I will give you the strength. I will give you the love. I will give you the joy. I will give you the power that you need, because the power, even though Jeremiah 31:31 says it's already in you, he says that I will give you more. You can have whatever you want if you ask of me. And then I had to really get into this place, because I'm thinking that a lot of this time that I'm dead. But I read I read a scripture. It's called the Valley of Bones, where it says basically, I think it was Zechariah. He was a prophet of the Lord. He went from having his mouth shut, from not speaking, that angel came to him and told him that his wife was going to give birth to a child. And because he didn't believe it and he didn't receive the message of the Lord, that angel said, you won't be able to speak to that child that's born. Cut him off. Said you won't be able to speak. So you are what you speak. Remember, what you speak is very important. And then he was able to speak again. He had to give out the word of the Lord. And what it was said was, God asked him, which he fully knew. He said, son of man, can these bones live? He took him to a place where it was nothing but dead bones. A lot of things, it was nothing but skeletons. And he said, can these bones live? And he said, oh, sovereign Lord, only you can know. And then he said, prophesy over these bones, tell them to come back to life. He said, then the bones start to form sinews. They start to form muscles. They start to come back to life. And that spoke to me, because I'm like, right now, I'm in the valley of bones. I feel like these bones, and I need life back into me. So I got back on path. I come back to work, and it's hard. Major surgery, went through this depression, been hurt, and a lot of things. And I'm like, it's hard for me to go to work for some reason. I can't mentally have this thing. A situation happened in my life that actually, after the surgery, caused me to be hospitalized for 7 days. I wasn't even sick physically. I was mentally just exhausted and tired and hurt, and just couldn't get out of this place. And while I was in the hospital, the same people always, my auntie and uncle, mentor Kevin, everybody, my family, loved ones, even people I didn't expect, man, came by and they visited me. And as they were visiting me, I started receiving revelation. I call it the wilderness. I was in the wilderness while I wandered for a while. But while I was wandering for a while, I was also being led by the Spirit. The Spirit was telling me these things, was showing me how I could, was giving me the strength to get out of the wilderness. And I found out that what it was that I had to put him first. A lot of times we say, God, we love you. A lot of times we say, we'll do whatever you tell us to do, but we don't put him first. He knows if he's first or not in your heart. And truth be told, anything that you put before him is your God. If you trust in your money more than you trust in God, then that God of money, which is mammon, is your God. That's your God. If you trust, if you want to watch TV more, I got my auntie and uncle took me away for the better part of a year or better from watching Dragon Ball Z, one of my favorite cartoons, because you want to know why? One day it was time for us to go to church at Metro, and I was like, I don't want to go. And I threw a whole hissy fit about going, because Dragon Ball Z was about to come on. And they said, nope, anything you put before God, we ain't having. I don't remember out. And it's crazy, because what happened was I also had a dream of, I told him about the dream. God told me that basically I was a child, but he told me that that's my God. You want to know why? Because in that dream, I was watching Dragon Ball Z in my dream, and then it says the show been canceled, and then the screen went blank, and then I was like, no, I got the remote, turned it back on, and then it went back off. I'm like, so the TV just turned back off, and then this is just my dream. I told him about the dream, and then I threw that fit. Dragon Ball Z was gone for years. Cut it out, man. You know, so but I appreciate them for doing that now, because now I know that I was what was wrong. But then when I was in the wilderness in the hospital at this time, it also showed me that I had things and people in my heart that was before him at that moment, and he needed to get me alone, and he had to put me in a place where it was just me and him. So, you know, I could feel like the prophet Elijah after everything that happened he basically had a showdown. I forgot the place, but yeah, he ended up killing a lot of prophets, speaking a word that stopped the rain from coming for 3 years and a whole bunch of things. And you know, the queen of the land, Jezebel, I believe, yeah, she said, I cursed, like she was like, boy, if I find you, you dead. She didn't have the authority to kill him or the power because he was already backed by God, but he ran anyway. and he was into a desert when God came in and he fed him, and he had birds come by and drop him off meals. You know, he was given water, he did everything. It was a famine in the land for those 3 years. And he said, and Elijah said, it's not gonna rain again until I preach, until I say it will. And boom, that's what happened. And then when the time came, it was nothing but a baby cloud in the sky. But it took him sending the servant 7 times to confirm, because at first, sometimes you can't look at your situation. That's basically what I want to bring this up, because you can't look at your current situation to determine where you're going to be. Sometimes you got to look past that situation, because when he was there, he sent a servant the first time. He said, I said that it's time for it to rain. So go see if it's if you see any clouds. The servant came back. No, I don't see none. He said, all right, well, go back. Now, do you see anything? Now, the whole time he is praying, his head is down. He's not even looking. He knew better than to look at the situation. So then I think the 7th time the servant came back, the number of completion, 7. He came back and he said, oh, I see nothing but a little cloud. And you know what? It don't take nothing but a little cloud, but a little faith. Elijah got up. He said, all right, it's time for us to go. And boom, next thing you know, rain. All over. It rained. It was released from the heavens like it was supposed to be, like he said it would. You can't look at your current situation while you're at this war. No matter what you're doing right now, no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what it may be, you may not have the education that's necessary to do what you want to be right now, but you know what? You can figure it out. You can definitely find the resources it takes to go and become that person. If you want to be a cosmetologist, you want to do hair, you can definitely go to school right now. You can start looking up what it takes to be a cosmetologist. You can write it down, make it plain. And then you can sit there, you can pray about it. If you don't pray, that's fine. You can sit there, you can still pursue it, because the word of the Lord, it still applies. You know, gifts of the Spirit are without repentance. So when you sit there and you make it, do your ideas, go ahead and do it. Like, don't hold back, make your plan, because your plan will definitely show you your way through. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to that's why I'm saying that you are what you speak. You have to tell yourself that you will overcome this. Philippians 1:6 says, and I am certain that God, who began the good work within you, will continue his work until it is finally finished in the day when Christ Jesus returns. This spoke to me because my work wasn't finished, and I knew it wasn't finished. It wasn't time for me to die. I still have work to do. And if this scripture is true, then this work is unfinished. And if he is faithful, then he will finish what he started in me, because I'm on board. I didn't find out I was sick until I actually got so tired at life, and my current predicament at the ER has nothing to do with how I was being treated or anything. Just the fact that I wasn't fulfilled, that I knew I wasn't fulfilled. And then until I finally came into agreement. I said, okay, Lord, I know you want me to be a doctor. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my first step. I'm going to take my first step. I'm going to go to advisement. I'm going to schedule advisors. I'm going to sit down with people and I'm going to find out what it's going to take to be this. And then what I did was I did it. I just followed through. I went to the advisement. I went to I spoke to the people. I went to the career centers. I sat there and I spoke down to everybody at FSU. And then I found out I was sick. And this is when things changed. Because when I found out I was sick, he healed me. He healed more than just my physical ailments, but he healed my spirit. He healed my soul. When I felt where I was inadequate, that one time when I went to FAMU, when I was pre-med, then I felt like I couldn't do it. When I got to that spirit, that when I got on that campus, it was unconquered. You know, I felt that spirit of being unconquered. I then knew that, you know, that I could proceed. Now today, you can't tell me I can't do anything. You know, I can do more than, you know, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, but I can, that's saying that both I can do it and I can endure it. Whatever you throw at me, I can take it. And whatever I'm supposed to do, I can take it. I was made for this weight. I was built to carry this. And now I'm charged up different, but it wasn't always like that. I was weak and skinny. I was on crutches at one point. And when I was at my weakest point, that's when I had a strength. You see, when you're at war, you got to understand that you ain't at war by most people at war, they have something called allies. You don't go into a war without knowing who your allies and who your enemy is. I had allies. I had those who would intercede, who, when I couldn't pray, would pray for me. You know what I'm saying? I had the Holy Spirit inside of me. When I sighed, would send that message to God, and things would happen. I had a lot of things going on that don't necessarily happen. It's not random. It's not random. It's no. This is by design. I could tell it's by design because it happened too perfectly. Now here it is that I'm sitting here and I'm finna transfer into endocrinology at a department where when I was in the hospital and I was sick, I was seen by my endocrinologist, who now I work with, Dr. Kafrani, a great man. Not only that, who also watches over me till this day. And he saw me before I got there, before I even started working at TMH. And then he came back and now I work with him. And then they held my job and everything. There's no way you can tell me that this wasn't designed. It was supposed to happen. I would ask where I was supposed to go and what I was supposed to do, and the answer came. Now I got into endocrinology and I got that things weren't always good. I mean, like I still had trouble dealing and coping, but I learned over time that how to speak this over myself, how to speak life into myself, and how to encourage myself. You know, like King David said, sometimes you're gonna have to encourage yourself. It's a whole song. I used to listen to songs, encourage yourself a lot. And you know what, no matter what nobody says, if somebody else got your back or not, you got to know that, you know, if God be for you, no one can be against you. You know, he'll prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't do this just, you know what I'm saying? He does it because not only because you ask, but he does it for his name's sake. He is not gonna fail. And if you are in him, he will not allow you to fail neither. Understand that. So I received this revelation. I went on and we're going to go to my next subject after, you know, you are what you speak. Now we know that power of speaking these things. We're going to go to stride and seek. You know, like hide and seek, this is stride and seek. You have to strive for what you want. It's not going to fall into your lap all the times. I'm sorry, but it's going to be some groundwork that got to be done. But he will meet you where you are. You can be met where you are, and you can definitely go on to do way more than you thought. So to stride, definition of stride is to walk with long, decisive steps in a specific direction. Also, another definition is to cross an obstacle with one long step. Seek is to attempt to find something, or attempt or desire to obtain or achieve something. So don't feel afraid to ask for help from someone. You can't always do it all on your own, and you got to understand that God uses other people to help you. these resources that I handed out, these things that I talked about, I got help from this place and that place. A lot of times because I said something. It didn't just come to me. I had to say something to you. I had to say something to two random people, and you know what I needed, they had. A lot of times it was just given to me, and I you have to strive for it. And when I say strive to seek, you got to understand that my all right, how do I put this? Let's talk about a situation else that came. Career. Let's go back to careers. I'm an MA, and I'm working on being a nurse at Kaiser. But you can see I'm currently an MA. How did this happen? While I was at I'm in endocrinology, I first came in as a call center representative. And when I was in the call center, I was like, okay, I need to find a way to get into this, to the medical field. What am I going to do? I started talking to the MAs on the other side, and when they all gave me some advice, but then one thing stuck out. One said we can go to health science consulting. In a few months, you can get an MA degree, and all you have to do is basically pass the course. You'll challenge the board. You can take the test. I'm like, okay, that sounds doable. Let me research. Let's figure out how to do this. Boom, it hit me. I look on the website, $1,600 to do the program, along with was it internships, and only $895 to do it without the clinicals. So to be honest with you, I had neither. I had no $895, nor did I have the $1,600. But I was like, all right, let me call and let me speak to these people. Let me ask them something. So I called and I asked, and I spoke to Miss Colette, and she said, how about Miss Washington? And she said, how about this? She like, tell me a little bit about yourself. And I'm like, okay, I've been working in the ER for over a year and 3 months. I've been working in endocrinology for about a year at the time. I'm about 2 years of experience of being around at least healthcare. She's like, okay, so the internship may not be necessary for you, but you will still need to get the $895 to do the program. So how about that? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna save up. And when I get enough money, then I'm gonna do it. Do y'all know though, I prayed about it first. And I was like, Lord, if it's your will for me to be a doctor and for me to get into, I need confirmation. I need you to put me into, I need you to help me get into this program. And next thing I know, COVID-19, it hit. Now, I'm not saying it's a great thing. It took away a lot of lives. It's very serious. It affected a lot of my friends, and it actually took away a life of a very strong person, a very reported person, Miss Versey, the woman who came down to Shands, my best friend, Delwyn, his grandmother. It took her life, and it was devastating at the time. In the healthcare field, it was shook to its roots. Nobody wanted to be in the healthcare field, but I did. And you know what? Then the stimulus checks came. So what I did with my first stimulus check is I honored I honored the gift that God gave me. I went ahead and I took that stimulus check, that $1,200. I put the $895 into the program, and I also took the $300 to buy me a new laptop, because let's be honest, I've been out of college for about 7 years, not 7 at the time, about 4 years by then, maybe 5. I don't know. I'm a little bit older than I look. So I've been out of college for quite a while, and here it is. I'm like, okay, what can I do to get this, to get back started? So I go ahead, I put into it, I invest in myself. I'm like, God sent me these funds, these resources, I'm going to do it. But I'm also watching Pastor Michael Todd on on YouTube, and he just started a series called Crazy Faith. So I'm over here, I'm charged up. I will have unbelievable crazy faith. I know I'm gonna do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I can do everything. Then they like, okay, we got 2 courses. We can do the express course. That's only gonna be a week, and we're gonna do we got a long course that you could do. And here it is. This long course, however, gonna take 2 months. I'm like, man, I'm charged up. You know, God had already gave me the money. So you know what? He must gonna be ready. You know what I'm saying? He must want me to go ahead and do this thing. So I said, let me get that week course, man. I'm ready for it. So I sat there. I took that week course of just a lot of information. You know what I'm saying? I leave work, I come in, I go straight to class. I'm in class. I'm all day. I'm back and forth. Work in the morning, class in the afternoon. I'm like, okay, I'm grasping it. I'm doing this. I'm like, whoo, this is hard, but it's only gonna be a week. You know, I got this. You know what I'm saying? And how many of y'all know that a blessing out of this season is a curse? I did well in the course. I really did. And I got down to that last test, man, and I bombed, man. I'm talking about, I showed up to all the clinicals. I did all the vanity punches. I showed that I could do every procedure that an MA is supposed to do. And I bombed. And I was discouraged again, man. I was like, man, how? Like, you said I was supposed to do this. Like, God, why would you forsake me right now? Like, why? Why would you forsake me right now? Like, I thought I was your boy. Like, I'm your boy. Like, and then I called my aunt, Leslie, and she was like, you know, she said, it's not over. Don't feel bad. Now, I will say, you know, that a lot of times, you know, that's, you know, I'm like, okay, it's not over. It's not over. I'll try again. I don't know how I'm gonna get this another $8.95, but I'm gonna try again. I said, but how about I'll call them come Monday. Because it was Friday when I found out I ain't passed. But I said I'll call them come Monday. And yeah. But how many of y'all know that on Monday comes around and I don't call them? They call me. And they say, Kaleb, we saw a lot in you, and we feel like just at the moment you probably bit off a little bit more than you could chew. That's all right. How about this? We're gonna put you into our extended course for 2 months instead. We're not gonna charge you anything. If you need any more materials, we'll give you whatever you need, and we want you to take it again. Just prove us right. I'm like, yes, okay, great, boom, yeah, I'm back in there. I'm like, okay, God, thank you. You done worked it out for me again. All right, so you do want me to do this, but you had to prove to me that it wasn't me. You had to prove to me that it was you and it was in your timing. And I got it now. I need to do it in your timing. So here it is, all over again. The opportunity came. I take the 2-month course, but because I did it previously, I'm ready. Everything that they're asking me for, I already did the paper, did the assignments, did this. All I got is just a rerun for me. There's nothing. I did it in a week. I can definitely do it in 2 months. But you know, the enemy stay busy. I had a TA. All I'm gonna say is that I turned in that week work and I got different grades when I did it in 2 months. We're gonna put it that way sometimes. But you know what I'm saying? But I prayed against that, and you know, the weapon was formed, but it did not prosper. So we'll go on. I got down to, all right, I completed the course. I passed the test this time, 2 months, in 2 months. And now I only got 2 months to take the exam, challenge the board, and I'll be good. Got sick again, ended up going back and forth, hospital appointments and everything. And next thing you know, the last day for me to be able to take and challenge the national exam is here. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta hurry up. I gotta take it. I gotta do it. It's here. And I'm like, I did not study for 2 months. Oh man, what am I gonna do? Uncle Emery can let you know. He ended up texting me that morning, and I ended up texting him. Had to be hot. Like just straight, humble, open, and transparent. Look, I'm finna go take this test. I didn't pray. I didn't prepare for it. I need you to pray for me right now. everything in me telling me not to go. Everything in me telling me not to show up. I'm finna do it. But I'm honestly the whole way. But he sent me a text message, a prayer, and I'm reading and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna go. My whole way driving there, I'm sitting there thinking of excuses. I'm like, man, I could tell them I got COVID. They could probably let me retake it and everything. But and maybe if I say I got COVID and everything, you know what I'm saying, or I was exposed, you know, I'll be able to retake it later and everything. But then I said, you know what? No, okay, look, you said that you wasn't gonna run no more. Isn't that a promise you made? If you gonna keep your word, you know, the word says it's better to not promise anything to God at all than it is to lie and then change your mind. I went ahead and I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I said, how about this? I said a different prayer. I said, I will pray that if there's an easy version of this test, Lord, let it be passed to me. But it was passed. I got there, you know, even though I was afraid, you know what I'm saying? But I had started thinking about all the Psalms I've read about David and everything, you know what I'm saying? I said David had to be afraid to fight Goliath, didn't he? But he showed up to his fight. Let me tell you something. You lose 100% of the battles in warfare that you don't show up to. You lose. You have just given up territory that has been conquered by the enemy. So you got to show up. And sometimes it won't require you to do anything but show up. If you show up, you can the victory is there. You just have to show up sometimes. It's times in the Bible where they didn't even have to fight. They marched around the walls of Jericho. They sung songs. They played music. The enemy was afraid. It's times where Samuel had to tell Lord, show him what I see. Reveal that, show the legion of angels of this army that's behind us versus the few thousand men over there that we ain't got nothing to really worry about. No, it's times that show that if you prove yourself faithful, you prove yourself to have enough courage, he'll prove himself strong. He'll prove himself the winner of your battle already. It's already won. You just got to show up. So I showed up and I got there. Your results were immediate. So because the results were immediate, I saw that I passed immediately. I'm like, wow. And I was not about to come to this. I was not about to show up for this test. And here it is. It was a piece of cake. I actually prepared twice now. When I thought I was in a season of being unprepared, what happened was I was prepared beforehand twice. I took it one time, real strenuous, real hard. It was express. I took it again at a slower pace, and I perfected what I already knew. Next thing, I was ready for the test months ago, but here it is. I was just scared because I'm thinking because I didn't study, I wasn't ready. But you know what? Just like David, when David told Solomon, you know what I'm saying, let me give you my resume before I go fight Goliath, I was washing my daddy's sheep. And when the animals appeared, you know, if they didn't run away, when I pulled up my stick, I beat them to death with it. So, you know, I can't, you know what I'm saying? He was prepared for that fight, but here it is. Just don't give up. Fight, go show up. Don't give up because you never know what's on the other side of that. And now we're going to talk about my next subject, imagine action. Your imagination is more than your imagination. It's the projection of basically what you plan to be. Your imagination is guiding you towards greatness a lot of times. If you can imagine it, you can have it. Imagination is a gift. It has to come from somewhere. You don't just, when it manifests, somebody had to say, I want to be able to talk to somebody who's not next to me, that's actually states away or across the world. And that imagination created the telephone. That thought that this is possible created the internet. Now we have Skype. Now we have we're on Zoom right now. We have these things because an imagination. Somebody had the imagination, and not only that imagination, but the courage to pursue the dreams that they had based off of that imagination. Because something that seemed crazy in one season will prove to be it's crazy until it happened. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that Pastor Michael Todd talked about in Crazy Faith. It's crazy until it actually happens. So it's imagine action, for real. Imagine it first, then put it in action. Don't be afraid to fail, because true failure doesn't come from you not obtaining your goal. True failure is that you didn't attempt to do it at all. That's where you fail. You know, Benjamin Franklin said, I did, when he was asked about over 100 times, after he was asked about creating a light bulb, how do you feel about your failures over 100 times? He was like, I didn't fail 100 times. He said, I just found 100 ways not to make a light bulb. I only needed one way to figure out how to make it happen. So you got to think, though, you know what I'm saying? You got to understand that you got to start imagining yourself as the person that you were called to be, or the person that you want to be, versus the person that you currently are. Because if you are only imagining yourself as that low person that's not capable of doing it, then you are that person. But if you imagine yourself as that person, if you see yourself, you know, they say dress for success, you know, wear a suit and tie every time you go out. Sometimes you don't have a job or nothing yet, but when you wear that suit and tie, you feel like you're about to have that job. You know what I'm saying? You sit there, you feel like that is going to happen. You align yourself with what you are imagining. So that's your first step. The first step of making impossible things possible. And like I said, that's what God specializes in. He specializes in making the impossible possible. He is all possible. He is all powerful and all possible. And then you have to be brave in your imagination. Don't limit your imagination. Why? If you say that I can be a doctor, don't just stop at a doctor. I can be a specialist. I can be an endocrinologist. Well, don't just stop there. I can be the best one in the world. Don't stop there. Say that I can be a plumber. I can be the best plumber. I can fix any toilet, anything that's clogged up, be the best of anything. You say I'm going to be a hairstylist. I can be the best hairstylist. I will be doing Beyonce hair. I'll be doing I'll be doing celebrity hair before it's over. Don't limit your imagination. Elon Musk working on going outer space right now. You have the imagination. These people who are Amazon right now, CEO, what his name was, but you know about him, Jeff Bezos. He working on going outer space, and not just that, he started just off a company on delivering packages, cut deals, and made it happen. Your imagination has to become action. Don't be afraid to fail, because you're not failing. You just learned another step, not how to do it, and then you will be able to do it. If you never give up, the opportunities will come and things will align. You have to ask yourself, where are you currently and where do you plan to be? And this is very important for your career. Where are you currently, and plan out where you plan to be. You won't get there unless you at least have an idea. I'll tell you right now, how did I end up at Florida State? Be honest with you, I went to campus to visit a friend, came up, felt like I was not included, nothing. I had access to nothing. Without a student ID, you could get nothing on that campus. And that feeling right there made me be like, I'm good enough for this place. They don't have the right to make me feel like I don't belong here. And that's what made me go, to be honest with you. Just that rejection and feeling like I didn't belong and I wasn't good enough made me feel like, nah, I can go. And you know what? I'm going to go as many times as I need. And I'll tell you, as far as careers go, I was academically dismissed twice while I was dealing with my illness. I didn't know at the time that it was because of my illness, but I was academically dismissed twice. And I still graduated on time. So you can't tell me it's not possible. Just not giving up itself. Just keep trying and keep trying. I had to go before the dean of my school, and I had to say, look, I'm going through some things. Can you help me out? I had to do it twice. Look, I'm still going through some things. Can you help me out? But no, I still made the dean's list. I still got honor roll. I still turned around. Before it was all said and done, victory was still mine to be had. So at the end of the day, not giving up You got to understand that being on that, and that's why I named this Unconquered, because there I had the most failures, but I also had the most success. There I shaped myself to who I am today. There I was encouraged to be, and I was told that I thought about, you know what I'm saying, that it was there that I was rebuilt into the person that ran from FAMU, to the person that conquered FSU, to the person that became Unconquered. I went from conquered to unconquered. And I'm telling you that it is, if it can be done for somebody like me, I'm not the smartest. Anyone else can though. I'm not the smartest, but I have one thing, and that's just the will to never give up. Just don't give up on your dreams. Pursue your careers, pursue the opportunities. You gotta be, remember, the word even says you are more than a conqueror. It's not your place to be conquered. It's not your place to be conquered. You are a conqueror. So I did have allies. I had people in my corner. You know, LT always been great to me. Thank you, man. They even attempted to teach me how to play the keyboard, and I got too busy for that. Well, we'll say I went on a lot of ventures. Some completed, some still gonna be completed, just not right now. But also I will say, I had, Leslie, Emery, Ruth, Robert, had Auntie Connie when I first got diagnosed, that sat there with me when I couldn't even hear the words that were being said, because I was in so much shock that my ears couldn't even process anything else. I couldn't hear anything, like literally. I heard the ringing sound, nothing else, and she had to explain to me later what was going on. I had my big brother Kevin, man, been my mentor since I was in high school. When I was failing in geometry, he turned that thing around for me, man. I had to stay after school and practice harder because, my parents at the time, or who was watching over me, they had two things. They had two rules: Kaleb, you ain't bringing home no F's and D's, and you also, I can't help you with your homework. I'm too old. So you gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to go to after school or something. You're gonna have to do something. So, thank you, Kevin. I thank my church family for encouraging me all the time. Fire Him Ministries, International Training Center, for all y'all done, and giving, and all the time y'all spent. I think LT for keeping me in mind too. I think my friends, Ty, coming by, laying hands on me, and just being, when I was in my sunken place, coming by to encourage me. I thank you for Tony. Tony not with us today. Tony Zamora. You heard probably in January about him being murdered at GVO or whatnot. But what people don't know the side of Tony is that he went to church with me. I couldn't get my other friends to, he would. And he, I thank him for stopping by the hospital. He gave me a book, told me how to, titled How to Pray When You Need a Miracle. You'll be surprised who is actually in your corner. No matter, lifestyles don't really separate. Jesus was with whores and whoremongers, thieves, and he was crucified with two thieves, if I'm not mistaken. So at the end of the day, it's really about your faith and what's carrying you, and strengthen yourself. I use the word of God. It carried me far. It got me where I needed to be, and it got me in the place where He needed me to be. He got me to speak to you today. And I encourage you all, to find stability. I think Delwyn and his family, I think Miss Williams and Mr. Williams, thank y'all. I thank my fiance for putting up with me, especially through all that. I had a lot of ups and downs and bad times, man. And you know what? I'm not saying everything has always been great, but everything has worked out. All things is working for the good of those who believe. All things, no matter what it was. In hindsight, I know that I did have issues. I had problems. I had struggles. I had strifes, but I overcame them all by never giving up and having and knowing where my help comes from. all these things are jobs. You know, even if you look at a dollar bill, it says, "In God we trust." That says it all. That dollar trying to tell you, I can't help you. If that dollar ain't saying nothing else to you, it's saying, I cannot help you. It's even that dollar says, "In God we trust." So I'm letting you know, yeah, we are more than conquerors. Get your allies. You are at war. You are more powerful than you think or believe, and you are capable. And if you have the opportunity and the heart to trust in God, He can do exceedingly and abundantly above all you could ask or think. I think I'll go ahead and I'll close it right there. If we have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Any questions, comments?
Comments? Yeah, go ahead.
This was great. There's a lot I knew, some things I didn't know, because God had to be your number one ally. And so sometimes when loved ones want to be there, sometimes we have to let, our loved ones get it from the Lord, because as you shared, Kaleb, you did a great job. You always been long-winded.
Yeah, I know. I burned out in 2 hours.
But you are absolutely correct that it's who you go to, where you go to in a time of crisis. It's great to have allies, but you better believe God must be number one. And He's gonna make sure He is.
Yes, He's gonna put you
He's
in the
gonna
book.
make sure He
You
is.
got to make sure He's number one. You're right. If He ain't number one, He'll make Himself number one. Believe that. The one and only.
Absolutely. But I did totally enjoy listening, and I see even more gifts in you. Amen. But that's it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Anybody else? Miss Connie?
Kaleb, I am so proud of you. You know, I've always been your little champion, in your corner. Right or wrong, I had you. But this experience was amazing to hear your story, and like Leslie, some stuff I did not know. And I laughed and cried throughout this whole thing. So it's just like, oh my goodness. Matter of fact, I had a brand new battery when I started this. I had to run to the room because the phone said, "Oh, we're about to die for real." It's like, I don't remember having it with an iPhone. But you did a wonderful job. I'm waiting on the book so you can share your story with other kids, especially with all the things that you went through. A lot of people wouldn't have had the perseverance you had, the faith you had. And, and you're still young. So, yeah. And just for the record, 60 is not old, because I'm like 20 years away from it. Because when you said much older, I'm looking like that's not old.
No.
I was gonna say that too, but I was gonna let it slide.
Let me explain. When I said I'm not talking about 60 being old. I was talking about too old to help me with my homework at that time, because I can't help my children. I gotta, whatever way they learning, I'm showing them the way. I don't know about all that, but this is how I divide and I multiply, and this is how I do adding and subtracting. Whatever they got y'all doing is made up. That's fake news. So I need
see, that's the trick though. That's when you get mad with them. You say, "Oh, well, why didn't you learn this in class?" And then you fuss at them about that. That way you're out.
Why you pay attention in school?
That's it. That's how we did that, because we didn't have to say, "I don't know how to do this." Why don't you know how to do this? You in class all day. So yeah, I got some stories for you with that. But I'm proud of you. Continue to keep up and believing in God.
Amen.
Okay. Anybody else?
Miranda, I see you. But you on Facebook. I ain't gonna forget about seeing you, hearing what you gotta say as well. Okay.
Okay, but Mr. Kaleb, I want to thank you for your story. because I've been in Atlanta area. I didn't know a lot of this that you shared. So yes, I was kind of crying. I tried to hold myself together because I could not have my picture up on Zoom.
Right.
Thank God for you and your testimony and all the struggles and what you shared. I think it's going to bless a lot of people. Somebody's waving.
Oh, let me see. Oh yeah, Kevin had to go. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get to see much of this in the feed.
Yeah, but I want to thank you again. Your shirt has not been ordered, but it's on the way. You should have it in a couple of weeks. Haven't forgotten.
No, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? Just another piece of armor.
Yeah. So you just let me know if you want it garnet, burgundy or gold or green.
He said, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'll take my garnet. You know, I like my garnet and my gold.
Okay, I got you. And Miss Connie, since you're a special guest, type in the chat your shirt size. You're going to get a shirt and your address.
Okay, thank you.
Type in the chat your size, your color preference, just in case we may not have.
Oh, it's going to be green because I'm a Rattler.
Oh, okay. So, but thank you all again. This has been wonderful. And you all, this will be on YouTube probably within the next hour. So I send out the link. And if there's nothing else, y'all continue to have a blessed day. It's a little bit chilly up here. I know y'all probably dealing with the 75, 80 degree weather in Tallahassee.
Ooh, well, you never know what you're gonna get down here. It's like a box of chocolate. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Remind the people that a lot of us are Amazon shoppers, and your organization is one that they can choose to donate to, their percentage of their whatever their sales.
Right. So Slick International is a part of Amazon Smile. So that's something Amazon does to help charitable organizations. So if you have an Amazon account, you would go to amazonsmile.com and then log into your regular Amazon account. Make sure Amazon Smile shows up on the top of the page. And then you select our charity, which is Slick International, or any charity. And any purchases you make, we get a certain percentage, not additional to you, but they would like 0.005% of that particular purchase will go to Slick. Also, you can donate at $, capital SPEAK, the number 4, capital S, capital L, capital Y, capital C, via Cash App, or you can go to our website, www.slycinternational.com, and you can donate through there, which is PayPal. You can also follow us on Facebook as well, as the video will also be posted on Facebook. But thank you again. This has been wonderful, and I cried, so I'm gonna go blow my nose. I've been dealing with allergies, so wow. We never know what people go through and how they deal with it. That's why we have to continue to speak life, even though as we don't feel it, but we still have to speak it.
Right.
All the time. And our lives and in the lives of everyone else that we come in contact with.
Right. You can also do $, Kaleb J. No, I'm messing with you. No, I'm playing.
So I'm looking forward to the next level, Kaleb.
All right, then, your next level. I'm waiting for it too, man. I appreciate y'all having me on here. It was fun. I'm happy I was able to tell my story. And like I said, I just hope it bless a lot of people, and that you're able to overcome some of your challenges. And if you know my Facebook, Jabril King, that's JABRIL KING. and have any questions, I'll be happy to help you. There are resources out there for careers. I just wanted to share my testimony and my struggle. Like I said, the word says that we overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by their testimonies, but we did overcome, and we did conquer. So Unconquered, man, like for real, it's a real thing.
You need to get a t-shirt that says that.
You're right. No, I'm
get
gonna go
your
on
t-shirt. Go ahead and get that out there. Unconquered.
Yep. Yep. I'm gonna patent it.
Okay. All right. Go
Probably
ahead.
too late, but I'm gonna do something. I'll find something.
You could come up with your own little.
Put a K in it. I'm gonna put a K in it. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. All right. But y'all have a good day, and hopefully I will see y'all soon.
All right. See you soon. Thank you.
Okay.
Y'all be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.